Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. Today is Sunday, 22nd of March 2025. I know, from my last video, I did say that I would try to do this video clips a bit more longer, like once a month or twice a month, rather than the next day. But since it's during the long weekend, it's a 4 day long weekend in most of the Muslim world, specifically Malaysia, which is 4 days weekend, including tomorrow. So it started on Friday till Monday. Is considered as a holiday. Today is the second day of Shawwal for the Muslim calendar. So it falls on Sunday, and technically, when it's a public holiday, falls on Sunday. Monday is declared as a replacement. So yeah, we have a stretch of a weekend. At least it's a good festivity time for working families to go back to their home village in the countryside. What we call it here, the village or the kampong in the Malay language. And celebrate the festivity and probably have the chance to visit the the wife's family side, and also the husband family side. Most people would do this year is either one side and then the next year the other side of the family. Rarely people would do like having a uh, 1 year they would go both sides, because logistically it's going to be nightmare. But anyway, again, I wish that to all Muslims, people, my friends, my colleagues, a wonderful Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. And for those who are in overseas, I think you'll call it Eid Mubarak. So if I'm correct, but anyway, I didn't go through the Wikipedia or something to check it out. So forgive me if I say it wrong one or wrongly. But at the end, I think a more direct approach in English is happy first day of Shawwal or second day of Shawwal, ending the month of Ramadan, the holy month. So yeah, wish them all a happy day and happy weekend. Now, current affair. Well, yesterday there was the election in South Australia. As most of you know, I was educated in Australia. I lived part of my youth, especially when I was in university, when I was an undergrad, master degree. I kind of been dwelled in a very happy lifestyle of the white man. Australian way, of course, at least I would say Australian way of life. I enjoy it, and looking from the time that I was there and looking at the time I left, uh, today Australia is very, very different, I would say. Of course, this is a sidetrack about my opinions. Australia been very copycat, I would say. Australia's been a very copycat country. They won't act on their own to be the first. They will be act like after a dominant country or a historical country that is dominantly bigger than them, but similar culture. Wink, wink. United Kingdom. Wink, wink. Australia to United States. Have a political landscape change in most of these countries. First happened in the United States. United Kingdom follow up with Reform Party by Nigel Farage. Now Nigel Farage is going up, and suddenly some news poll said it's going down. We would not know until the next general election. I'm quite confident people shift their vote from the traditional Conservative Party, because they are thinking the Conservative parties are not doing enough. similarly to what happened to the Republican Party. Now, the Republican Party in the United States not happened just recently; it happened twice. The last time that the Republican Party became radical, infested with radical right wingers, were the Tea Party movement. It began by the Tea Party movement, and from that Tea Party movement, many of the people split out from the Tea Party because they didn't get what they want radically, and then suddenly, beholden, Donald Trump appeared, and MAGA cult was forming and established within the Republican Party in the first term of the Donald Trump's presidency. Now, the second term, what he's doing is to wipe out all moderate Republicans or established Republicans, including Reagan. Factions of Republicans were kicked out, and transforming this small band of mega cult into the establishment body of the Republican Party. So basically, Republican Party is equals to mega, and mega is equivalent to Republican. Now, before that, Republican Party was split. There was some radical proposal that Donald Trump should create its own party, like the America's Patriotic Party, so that they can counter alternative vote from the Republicans. It's the same context in United Kingdom, the Conservative Party and the Reform Party. Many of the people who split are radical conservatives, ultra conservatives, because the only party that they can pragmatically vote into power, into government, was the Republican Party, and in United Kingdom is Conservative Party. We will not think there were third force. Now, America will successfully assimilate entirety of the MAGA into the Republican Party. So today, Republican Party, a vast majority are loyalists to Donald Trump, and there are not many figures, leadership within Republican Party fighting back the MAGA Republicans. So technically, Republican Party is very difficult to salvage. The only way to salvage the Republican Party is to have the voters naturally vote them all out, wipe them all out from power, and then through administration wipe out those who believe in MAGA or Trump influence or connecting with Trump for advantages in any government body. So to do that is through vote. That's the beauty of democracy. When there is a political crisis, democracy prevails. And the objective of a mega Republicans is to make that obstacle more difficult to the voters who are attempting to vote against them. Typically, urban areas. Urban cities are virtually in United States are Democrats. Make that difficult. If you're in the countryside, like Kansas, the cornfields and the wheat plain fields, those hardworking Americans, the average countryside Joes, farmers, white farmers, specifically white farmers, white Christian farmers, would definitely vote for Republican. So we should make it easy. Ballot voting. Oh, you're white and you're a farmer. Yeah, we don't need your ID to register you or recognize you or verify you as a voter. Those are the demographic or area spectrums. Probably they will be lax to identify voters, whereas they will manipulate in the urban cities. That is what I would foresee indirectly. Not looking at laws, not looking at any kind of perspective, but looking at historical events, what has done. Intimidation was one of the systems used during the Nazi Germany. Those who know the demographic of workers or voters in Germany who naturally would vote for the communists were actually beaten up, humiliated, and bullied out of election stations during election day. So yeah, the Nazi does that. So what prevents American Republican MAGA Republicans not doing that? Maybe not associate with MAGA Republicans, but they can associate with the Proud Boys or the revival Neo Ku Klux Klan. Who knows? You use a independent associate parties like 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 the Proud Boys kind of thing. Okay, to intimidate voters on the polling station, to discourage them to vote. Or right now, they might use ICE to intimidate Latino voters, because if you look at the news today in America, whether a Latino is a genuine citizen of the United States, they are still getting arrested and put into the ICE detention centers. Maybe probably a couple of days later, they are free because, yeah, you prove you are a citizen. But that doesn't stop the ICE from putting you to detention. Why not? They will set up these polling stations with ICE and detain them, regardless whether they can vote or not, because they had to go through due process to go to detention centers to prove that they are citizens. And when that time comes, the date of election has passed. They're not allowed to vote because voting booth is closed a couple of days back. So these are the tactics I might foresee that the America might take on. Similar patterns what Germany did when Nazi uses their members, associate members, to intimidate communist voters, socialist voters, left-wing voters from voting in the booth, reducing the chances for these parties to win, and increases the chance for the Nazi party to win. Similar case in the United States, might be doing it. Now, looking at America in that kind of point of view, United Kingdom also approached in a new way. But the difference in the United Kingdom is the Conservative Party is still within a strong. They do think logical in sense of way that they don't get intimidated in voting to welcome Nigel Farage into Conservative Party and transform the Conservative Party, because United Kingdom practices multi-party system, not two-party systems. So there's no point in doing that. So just open a new party. And some of the people from the Conservative moved and migrated to the Reform Party, and then a UKIP was disbanded, was reduced to and migrated to Reform Party, and a lot of the voters that voted for the Conservative migrated to the Reform Party because they find that the Conservative Party are not doing enough. That's, in a nutshell, is the Conservative Party are not doing enough. When they're not doing enough means they're not radical enough. They're not right-wing enough. We want immigrants to stop coming to the country. We want United Kingdom to be what it is during Victorian times, all white dominance, what British dominance. Well, typically in today's context, white British dominance. We don't want Indians or Pakistanians or Muslims taking over. Even the fact that today, not to say that I'm against it, but it is a will. Majority of the land in London, the properties, I would say, is owned by Indians. Many do not know, but the statistics shows that a lot of the lands are owned by the Indians now. It's more Indian owners than the own British citizens. So the tables have turned. Now India is like kind of colonizing United Kingdom indirectly for economic purposes or investment purposes. Okay, and people in the ground felt that, especially those who are right wings, who are devoted conservative. They find the conservatives are not doing it enough. The problem isn't right in their face, so they felt that the party does not do enough. So I have to vote for someone more radical. Nigel Farage is one of those people, one of those gangs that are able to do that. And that's the election from the last general election. You see the spectrums. Many conservative parties move to reform, and hopefully, probably when people is enough fed up with the current government, which is under the Labour Party, and to be honest, I myself is kind of support a left wing side of ideology, so I'm kind of Labour sympathetic, but being not a British citizen but just exposed to British politics in any surface context I could get, currently Labour Party is not doing enough. It's the same problem as the previous party who govern the country, the Conservative, are still same command, same comments. They're not doing enough. You become a government, you have this brilliant idea, but yet you're not fulfilling the ideas. And the elections come looming very soon. Keir Starmer is not doing enough. Yes, we understand there is a lot of political turmoil because the dynamics has changed very radically because of Donald Trump, but you need to fix your own house quick. Without fixing it, you cannot win votes. Voters are not sympathetic. They also see result. Like your bosses, they want to see result, not your sympathetics. I learned that really hard in my life. And true that people do that in election. The voters are the boss. And if you can't perform what I want, perhaps someone else would be better. And I'm looking at it, the projection, Labour Party in United Kingdom is losing out. Many of those who have voted for Labour Party with a landslide victory might resort to work with the devil on the right side, which is Nigel Farage. We will see more radical ideas, and then when people will get punished enough, they probably would change. But if Nigel Farage is smart enough, he will do political reform, etc., to prevent the other parties winning. That's the same playbook what Germany did when the Nazi took over. Well, we are doing the good for the country, so let's eliminate election, let's eliminate this and eliminate that. They are unnecessary. We are the right party, the right people to govern forever. That's a dream of any political party, not to face election. And that is what the current situation on the radical right-wing party is doing. They're trying to win favor, the left side is the other government, the parties are governing, and they are losing their vote because they are incompetent, and they're telling only we are capable of fixing it. Using a radical ideas and policies, unimaginative. We cannot imagine those kind of policy becomes reality. So radical that not even moderates would even touch it. It's taboo. It's too dangerous. It's a landmine. But the radical parties on the right wings, such as reform parties, the MAGA Republicans, are taking those steps. And this is how we are seeing right now in the United States happening. UK probably after the next election. And now in Australia, the same pattern is repeated. The traditional Conservative Party, the Liberal Party, I don't know why they're called Liberal Party, but yet they're a conservative ideology, is losing out. The voters are fed up with the Liberal Party and probably the National Party. For the first time voters in the regional, voters in the traditional conservative areas are considering is to vote the One Nation Party, Australia's brand of MAGA party or Reform brand party in Australia. One Nation existed very long. First, they were campaigning very strongly to leave the Aboriginal to die out. They should not be special or privileges, or we should return the land to them, or say even to say forgive us, say sorry to the Aboriginal because it is our right to claim Australia. That was the first one Pauline Hanson wanted to be politicized. And then when that failed, Vietnam boats coming in for refugees, suddenly the next campaign is shifted from Aboriginal to the Asia swamping Australia. I still remember that word, Asian swamping Australia. In the sense that the yellow peril is here. Oh my God. Yellow peoples are coming into Australia, changing Australia's white privileges, blah blah blah. That was the second wave of propaganda from Pauline Hanson, probably in the early 1990s or late 1990s. That was when I was still in elementary school. And then it shifted today. Today, it shifted from swamping Asians into Australia to unacceptable religion of Islam in Australia. The dynamics of shifting it is trying to win the voters through the current affair, making it more radical. Twice Australians voters have shunned this radical approach because Australians can think straight and logical while they're thinking who to vote. But so long a condition is whether the Liberal Party or the Labour Party of Australia, the left side, can balance it out to be a moderate and can fix the problems what they expect. Today, many Australians feel that most of the major party, the coalition, which is the Liberal and the National Party in the federal government, and the Australian Labour Party on the left side, which is the current government, they're feeling it today, currently feeling it. You know what? Both of these parties, they don't represent me anymore. They don't have policy that fits my agendas, what I want. Probably looks like if they want. You know what? Screw that. I'll give a chance to Pauline Hanson to vote. I'll give my vote to Pauline Hanson. Let's see what she can do. And the left side also actually started much, much long ago, probably 10 or 3 or 4 general election ago. The left side of the political spectrum already started. We're only seeing last year or this year, many of the right-wing voters are shifting from Liberal Party, from National Party to the One Nation. But there was a small group of left side of the voters, which is under the Labour, shifted. And do you know they shifted to who onto the left? If you guess it right, you get it right. The Australian Green Party. The Australian Green win the first seat in Melbourne. I know because I live in Melbourne. And the dynamics before the Adam Ban won the seat for the first time in 100 years of the seat has always been under the Labour Party. For the first time after a century, it falls to another party for the seat of Melbourne. It's to the Green, a far left party. But the good thing is Labour Party was kind of still able to work out a policy that's much more inviting for all the spectrums of the left and the working class society. But when I look at it now is that even right now the governing of the second term of the Labour Party government right now is not doing enough. Of course, they can blame the kind of world situation is having issue. Again, Many voters don't really freaking care. Before you talk about other people's house, why not you clean your own house first? When you're exhausted cleaning your own house, then let's talk about other people's house. Yeah, some politicians say, no, we need to do both dynamically. We need to fix our own house together at the same time, helping and diplomatically speaking, talking to the neighboring countries, like our friendly country in America, our friendly country alliance with United Kingdom, the EUs. We need to talk to them. The dynamics of the world has been very radically changed. Even now, oil situation actually hampered the problem even further. Once the oil supply is drained, when the diesel are drained out, when the farmers don't have the fuel to mechanize their agriculture, who would you think they will blame directly? The government. And who's the government? The left side of the government, the Labour Party. And here comes Super Pauline Hanson rescuing the countryside people and so forth. I don't really want to see Pauline Hanson become a prime minister or having one nation finally step into the House of Representatives. Now, the House of Senate, probably yes. So yesterday's general state election in South Australia, I don't mind. There is a Senate, 2 members of the Senate in the member council is from one nation, but I don't agree they have one seat in the representative council, so-called the representative house, having a one member, which I heard they won that one seat. There's another one, whether they win we do not know, it's still counting, which is, dear Lord, have mercy. And what Pauline Hanson said in the news was really true. I would believe it is true. What she told and what she made a statement is she threw a dynamite. I think she say an obstacle. She threw a bomb or something into the premier of South Australia. No, not directly. It's a metaphor. Basically, if you have at least one member in the representative in the House in South Australia, at least that one member can bark to the end of the time, of the world ends. It keeps on barking, keeps on criticizing, it keeps on shouting, it keeps on protesting. It gives them the media coverage enough to tell the people, whoa, the One Nation Party is so patriotic. They're doing their job, even though it's just one man standing against all the members. Wow, fantastic. The next election, I'm going to vote for him. I'm going to support the One Nation Party. That is the mechanism of politics. You may not win this election, but we are gearing up for the next one coming in 4 years' time. And South Australia is that picking. The next election is Victoria, where I grew up. My university, my alma mater, is in Melbourne. I fear Victoria State is even worse. Of course, there are strong Labour Party and strong Green voters there, but I believe the Liberals stand out a chance. I believe Paul Hanson can get more seats in Victoria State in replacing the blue to the orange, so to speak. And certain green will take over some of the red, and also the dark, dark green ones will become orange. The National Party is also under threat for not doing enough, and knowing that their previous leader Barnaby Joyce has joined One Nation. Oh my Lord! Such profound issues can be said there. I just really scared what has Australia is transforming. And if Paul Hanson becomes a government, 30 years of her scaremongering, of propaganda, would become reality. First thing first, stop immigration. completely discriminate Islam, ban the Muslims, what's the word there? Expel the Muslims from Australia, revoke their citizenship. Yeah, we'll just create a new law and modify the constitution that gives the government the right to remove citizenship because they are Muslims. Why not? Democracy able to channel the powers, allowing parties to do that so long they win the majority, 2/3 majority at least. What's stopping a radical party doing that and implementing that? Like I said, radical parties, they would take the boundary to the end, to the edge, I would say. While the moderate parties, they can do it, but they won't. They show restraint. This is what liberal parties are. This is what Australia Labour Party are. They show restraint. They can go very far spectrums just to please all the pure Labour voters, pure left voters, or liberals, pure right voters. But they pronounce themselves as moderate because they want both sides of the voters, the Labour, the left wing, and the right wing, to support their party, to give them a genuine dynamic that they are able to govern both sides of the spectrums of political ideology of voters. That is what meant moderate parties, moderate right, moderate left. When you go radical right or radical left, their policies are much opposite spectrums. And what is stopping from Australia? First thing first, I would predict, in my kind of prediction, is Paul Hansen will ban the Muslim will be first. Once it's done that, it will put limitation on the yellow peril situation and make Australia more white, okay, more Christian, and remove the Chinese brands, remove the Chinese citizen out of Australia. And once they've done that, or probably all Asian, Filipinos, Vietnamese, finally, return after 3 or 4 generations in Australia. Finally, the 4th generation are forced to return to Vietnam, where a country that don't exist is South Vietnam, where their forefathers were born into. And then finally, reversing 30 years back to the policy of Aboriginal to wipe them all out of existence. It happens, it will. Now, some of you might thinking, why am I talking politics and not banknote collection? Yeah, I've been running rambling halfway there. Again, there's no proper procedures to do right and wrong in videos. I do the video for personal self so that I can reflect what I was thinking, what is the current affair that affects me today, and yeah, that's what I would like to say. So the current affairs, I'm out. Half an hour, shut up. So that's about it for the sidetrack on the political spectrum of news, I would say, on my point of view of what is going on in other countries. And of course, it could affect in my country too. We do have a radical party which is purely on religious affairs, manipulating through religious affairs. We have radical Islamic parties, as Malaysia is a majority Muslim country, so you're playing the religious and the race card quite heavily. So that's one party that is similar to Paul Hansen's One Australia Party, or Nigel Farage Reform Party, or MAGA Republican Party Donald Trump. In Malaysia, we have those versions. We call them PAS. They are Islamic, Pan-Islamic Malaysia Party. So they use Islamic system, and they are hopefully that the country would be more Islamic and governed under the Islamic rule, so to speak. So that is the utopia society they want to construct anyway. So if they become a government, but looking at it, governing the own state they want, we have water that is not even clean, roads were wrongly done. It's purely incompetent in my sense for them to be a federal government. But again, race card plays very well. They might win the next election if the current governments are not doing well enough to save the country. So yeah, same thing happened in Malaysia. Anyway, back to the banknote. Now the banknote is not much, to be honest. As I said, I'm only have planned to do this long clips actually to on banknotes probably once a month or twice a month, splitting out to the next 2 weekends or so, not next to back days. But today I just want to clear up because of the long weekend. I have some time on my own, so I wanted to do it everything up fresh and clear everything up. So I have nothing being backlogged so much of things. So the only last 3 banknotes that I got, which I already posted in my short reels, as most of you have seen it. If you are returning viewers, I like to say thank you for subscribing and like and continue watching my collection journey. So the 3 notes that I bought that I haven't said about is there's 3 since yesterday's fiasco. One of it is the South Sudan I bought recently. Is the 1000 printed in 2024, but I do not know whether they have issued it on that year or in 2025, because under the PIC catalog, unofficially, the last video that I made, the 500 Sudanese pound, and this one, the PIC number is accordingly that the first one is the 500 and then next code 78 is the 1000. If normally PIC, they don't follow the denomination size. If they print out one whole set in the same year, then they'll follow the denomination from the smallest to the largest. But if the series that they print out, let's say this print out this first, the 1000 one in 2024 and issued in 2024, then the 500 was printed out and distributed in 2025. In the PIC number, this will be the first, then the 500, because they follow the years. The earlier ones would be have the first one to be on the registry of the PIC numbers. But when I look at this, which is the PIC number is still unofficial until they come out a catalog book, standard catalog book, new issuance, which I haven't seen yet. They have issued one. I can show you the one that I have. Oops. This one. Over thousands of pages. Oops. Just hit my lamp. There you go. Over thousands of pages of items. All the PIC numbers are here. They follow the year standard and then the denominations from the smallest to the biggest. But if this one comes out first, and then they put it to the top, because they follow the chronology of timeline when the note was printed. That is better and easy because they have to catalog them based on the years, months, and so forth. So I got the one is a 14th edition one. Of course, this is 1961. That's modern issue one. I have the one that's the earlier one. That's the general issue notes. That one I have the older one. It's not really new. So yeah. But it's something like this, big book. But I tend not to buy physical book because it's like a phone book. It's large and thick and heavy, and to purchase the book they cost a lot of money. So I don't, and hopefully I could get just a soft copy to check the latest one. So I normally had a soft copy of the latest one. So the new one, I do not know whether they issue for this one yet. Still waiting for it. So anyway, that's the note that is South Sudanese, printed out, new one. The older ones are these two. This is from Indonesia. This is from Japan. So we're gonna go one by one and talk to them about it, and let's go through it quick. This is a Sudanese pound from Sudan, 1,000 Sudanese pounds. Now there was a period of transition earlier days after they got independence. They used pounds, Then from pound they changed to dinars to reflect their roots to the Arabic countries. Then after that, after the collapse, and now they're having civil war, they actually have economic collapse, and then they reverted back to Sudanese pound. So yeah, so that is the current one. Now, compared to the old notes and the last series note and this series notes are much more elegant, more modern, more clean, more slick. And for security features, it's quite simple. They have the silver thread embolded the word CBOS, basically is Central Bank of Sudan. And then if you tilt it in the proper way, you come out another denomination of 1000, and then CBOS 1000, as you can see. So yeah, CBOS 1000, you can see that. Front is the Arabic words in Arabic language. It shows their exports of precious metals or their minerals as their core of their industry. And the back, a typical developing country, is they put in the Central Bank of Sudan's Hague building. And the emblem of the bank, a central bank's logo, CBOS. The watermark is the emblem of the country, which is the eagle and so forth. If you can see it on the watermark here, with another word 1000 on it. So yeah, it is interesting note, I would say. I should turn on the lights. Yeah, much brighter, right? You can see it much clearer on the watermarks and the notes. Yep. Now, for me personally, I like how the background of this note, the silver thread, is quite modern, very nice. Compared to the older one, it's much more plain in design wise. But the back one, I could say they can do better. Rather than showing the building of the central bank, probably they can put more identity, probably the natural environment of the landscape of Sudan or the oil industry, basically telling a story. Now the front already tells the story of their export of their minerals and precious metals and so forth. The back can be historical event of Sudan, when the battle against the British, or talking about the ancient time, the Nubians fighting against the Egyptians, and so forth. Or maybe they talk about the legend of their country's heroes. There are many actually heroes, historical, but yeah, they are not doing it really, really smartly. So the back actually quite disappointing. But the front to me is really interesting. I like that. And I bought it for 30 ringgit. No, actually I bought it at a great discount price of 25 ringgit. So it's almost face value of the banknote, I would say. I don't know how much is the 1000 Sudanese pound. How much, you can check it Wikipedia against the ringgit. But from 30 getting 25, I think is a good deal. So I didn't argue with it, and I just thank my regular dealer for giving that support, and in the end, appreciate that I'm giving him support by buying the products that he has. So that is the dynamic between the buyer and the seller, and I try to tell beginners, always support your local dealers. Even in trading cards, go to your local trading card stores, support them, their business, and they will actually support you back with a better price and a good price, where the margins are much thinner to the actual price of the retail. They will do that for you if you become a regular. They trust you, you trust them, and then when you gain those trusts, benefits will grow. And I personally have done with him for many years, the seller, who has been getting new banknotes and so forth. It's our journey together, and you get the perks and benefits actually. And I really like to do business with him, to buying his notes and his collections that he has. Yeah. So that's the South Sudanese 1000. So the other note that I'm missing for this series that they printed out, currently issued, is the next one is 2000 Sudanese pound. That one at the moment I haven't seen any seller. My even this current seller doesn't have that 2000, so I'm still looking for that 2000. Probably eBay, but I'll try to avoid doing eBay. If I Because these notes are quite current, so they are out there in the market. Some way, somehow, somebody would actually get it and they sell it, and it would be much cheaper compared to getting from eBay. Normally, I go eBay is getting something impossible to get, old and impossible to get those notes. Then yes, I resort to eBay, and also auction. Even auction, I try to avoid buying those common notes in the auction because you're paying extra premium in the auction, and then for it to deliver you to your parcels and so forth, you have to pay the parcels. So there's a lot of additional charges in there. So if you can get it from a dealer's, or you can meet the person that has it and buy it from cash on delivery, COD, that will be a better price impact. The impact of the price is much lower and in a better value for money. That is, yeah. So the next one I want to talk about is Japanese note. Now, most of you trying to get bored that why am I collecting these notes? These are very common notes. Yes, you can buy this note for a mere fraction of $1, and that's it. I just need one, but why me buying so many? Now, let me tell you a little bit situation on this. I'm an avid Japanese collector. If you saw my last clip, my proudest joy is I finally completed the E series of the Japanese banknotes. I have all the variations, so I have completed that. In the D series, I'm missing only that one variation, which is the 10,000. The rest of the variations is completed, including the difficult one, 5,000 yen for the D series. Is really difficult to find and they're vastly expensive, but I managed to get that coincidentally in a good low price, or face value actually, of the 5,000 yen to convert to ringgit. So I got it for face value. Some of them I got it from inheritance. So yeah, the D series currently now I'm missing is just one 10,000 yen. Brown color, single prefix alphabet on the left. So that's the one I'm missing out. And the bank printing is, if I'm not mistaken, is Okurasho. Yeah, I already got the Zaimusho. I got the Koku series one completed. Just left Okurasho, single prefix, brown color, 10,000 yen. Then the rest of the notes for the C series, the B series, I've completed them all. I've got them. It's completed. I completed that quite long ago, actually. Probably around early this year. Middle of last year, I've completed that set. Now this is the A series. For all the post-war, after for Japan, the notes are divided different design and time frame is the series. The A series, the B, C, D, and E, and the current one is the F series, which is the new ones that you see is printing out and being used circulating today. That's the F series. Now this one, this 10 yen is printed under the A series. Now, if you look at the pick ones, the standard catalogs, they say this note has only one type. Now, as an avid collector, you don't ultimately follow the pick number only. You go and source out what the locals are collecting. And I went and find books such as these. The catalog of the Japanese coins and banknotes.
This one is 2022 series. I do have the latest one, which is last year's one, which is 2025. Now they have a latest issue is 2026, but when I check our digital copy, the 2026, some images inside there, comparing to 2025, the price is no different. They are actually the same. So I've decided not to buy the 2026 and skip it ahead to the next year one. Hopefully in 2027 they have new images, clearer images of the note, and maybe the prices change. Who knows? We'll see how the next catalog. But at the moment, it is the 2025 is still relevant because if you're looking at the price and the information, they're still the same. They're not much different. So that is why I didn't buy the 2026 one, which is in blue color, and then in the middle is actually the 2026 catalog is all in the kind of like a blue color, and in the middle there's an ancient old coin, the Japanese old coin with a hole, yeah. So yeah, those that is how it looks like actually. But for me, the first book I ever bought is 2022. As my guide, and from there I use it actually to mark notes that I have. So I mark tick, just a tick here, a tick there means I have it, excluding the condition, of course. My objective is to collect those notes. I don't have the money, the capacity of money, or capital, and also time to collect the good quality ones. If I can find it, I would gladly buy it if the price is right. So we'll talk about the banknotes that is after the war. So nearly all of them there. This is the one. This is the note that I'm looking for. But only thing is in brown color, and it's a single prefix in the front. So if you see here, this is the one that I'm actually missing. I got the 2. I don't have the 1, which is this one, Okurashio. This is the printer, which you find it right in the bottom of the front here. This one located here. So this is the zoom in caption. This is the one I'm missing. For this one, I'm basically missing this one. I don't know why I can't zoom in there, but anyway, I'm missing this one. Once I have that, I've completed the set. See, I have them all. I have them all. I have them all. I have the 5,000, all of them. I've got a variation. The 100 yen for the B series, I got them all. The 50 yen, there's only 150 yen, so I've got them all. I got it. The 500 yen, I've got them all. I've got the 1,000, I got them all. So the A series, yeah, as you see, they have written the price for like pick. Now the only difference here, from this 100 A series, 110 yen, 5 yen, the 1 yen, the 50 cent, and also the 10 cent, except the 5 cent, which is only one type. But this one, all the rest, they have a specific variation. They have specific variations. You can see the Hato 10 cent, the government parliament 50 cent, the 1 yen, the 5 yen, the 10 yen, and the 100 yen. Okay, the 4th series of the Shotoku 100 yen series. Now, these names here are actually the printer name, the company that prints these notes, the factory of the names. So we have some of the names that I know that recently is the this is a Tokyo printing machine, Tokyo printing, and then recently this Dai Nippon printer. This one is Dai Nippon printer. So there are company names right here. And in the company names, there are regions of their factories established. So one company like this, for example, have 1, 2, 3, 4 factories established, and each factory is correlate with the numbers in the banknote. Like for this one, the first one is the 12, second one is 22, third one is 32, the fourth one is 42. Okay? How do you coordinate? These are the examples they're given. For example, for the 100, you look at these numbers. This is serial number. So it's written here saying that this is serial number. Well, this is the code. So this side is this two is the same. These two are the same. So that's how you relate to the top one. But this one, here's where you identify. The first one, the first number is actually indicating who are the issuer, the commanding issuance of this note. One is by Bank of Japan. Two is by the government of Japan. So there are only these two numbers, 1 and 2. If you find other than these two numbers, you're out of luck. And to make it more simplistic, the 100 yen, okay, the 100 yen, the 10 yen, the 5 yen, the 1 yen, and the 10 cent will always indefinitely start with 1 at the front. There are no 2s, there are no 3s, etc. Only 1, okay? They only start with the number 1. Whereas for the 50 cent, they will always start with a 2, okay? We will always start with a 2. No 1, no 3, no 4, etc. It always start with 2. So the first number is indication of who is the issuance. That is the code that is being used. So 1 is the Bank of Japan issuance. The 2 is the issuance by the the government of Japan. And if you have that note, they're actually written very clearly. They're written quite clear. This is written here, Bank of Japan. And here, written in the kanji is Bank of Japan. The 1 yen, Bank of Japan. Okay, it's written really clearly. Okay, and behind they will have the symbol of the Bank of Japan. This is a symbol or the logo of the Bank of Japan, or the emblem of the Bank of Japan. You can see 5 yen, 1 yen, the 100 yen. Okay, it's written here in kanji, Bank of Japan, Japan's bank, or in English, literally properly call it Bank of Japan. 10 yen, Bank of Japan. It's written clearly. Okay, written very, very clearly. Now I don't know why the 10 yen they didn't use the bank's logo, but that is one of the decisions they made. But the only odd one, as you can see, is I never talk about is the 50 cent. Look at the behind. The background of the behind, there is no symbol of the Bank of Japan. And in English, it is written government 50 cent. This, and in kanji is also clearly written, it is the government of Japan, not Bank of Japan. So even in plain English, it's written here. See, it's written here Bank of Japan, Bank of Japan 1 yen. This is government 50 cent. And the rest here is a Bank of Japan, Bank of Japan. This note is the only note that is printed at issuance by the commanding issuance is by the government directly. So this 50 cent is uniquely starts with 2 and only 2. Okay, starts only with 2. That is the code. Who is the issuance? Now, the next number that you need, that is the important one, is the indication of these numbers. These numbers. The 12, 22, 32, 32, 42, 13, 23, 33, 14, 24, 34, 44, 15, 16, 26, 36, and 17. All these numbers correlates where these numbers are indication where the notes were printed, location of the printing, which cities they were printed, the factory's location, the company's name, the factory location indicates by these numbers. These numbers are always located the back. The two last numbers at the back are the code for which are they printed out. So for example, like here is given 12, is written 12, so it's this one. There are no other 12s around here, so this is the only 12. So you know the company name, the location of the factory, and the value for it. Now all these values, they only mean as this value if it's uncirculated. It is written here. So long they are uncirculated condition, this is the price. Okay, this is the price value. Okay, if beyond than that, they are all regular price like these. So they are not expensive to collect if you're looking for other than uncirculated condition. You may be looking for fine condition, very fine condition, extremely fine condition. They are referred to these value price condition regardless where the locations are. That's the basic of that, what this book is trying to say. Okay, it's written here actually. This price are valued under uncirculated condition. So these are all uncirculated condition, and you can see some of them fetch a lot of money. Now, when they fetch a lot of money, yes, I actually couldn't find it. For example, the 100 yen. This baby is 7,500 if it's uncirculated, with the number 26. And then written here is two words, very little amount. The 50 cent for the code number 26 exists, but very, very, very rare because the quantity is very small issuance, very little being issued. That is why they're written here. So there's no, probably if it's uncirculated, it's double, probably more than 7,500 yen. Actually, probably is around 25,000 or 30,000 yen in that price if it's uncirculated conditions. So you can see some of them already tick, means I already have it. That is why I have saw the collection as duplicates and so forth. You know, you might think, why am I goddamn buying this so many times? You know, and they are really, really worthless. Why? You just need to buy one and put it in the collection. And hey, if you're buying a new one, why are you not buying a better condition? Well, my friend, this 14 I don't have it, and the deal is when I noodling it, all his collection, this is the only 14 I can find. You see the last two numbers of the 10 yen is 1-4, so it's correlated here. 10 yen, you look for 14 here, it's 2,000 yen for Dai Nippon printing. Location, it was remember, it's Ichikawa. So Ichigaya location is Ichigaya, the factory, correct, under 14. So yeah, that's 14. Block number, as you can see, 1, which is Bank of Japan, and 1-4 at the back is its location of its printing, which is this one here under Dai Nippon Printing, company name, and Ichigaya, the location of the factory where these notes were printed. That's how I use to capture the variation. So in A series, for this note, my attempt is to collect them all. That's right. This is my major challenge for the A series. If I manage to complete all these and whatever remnants left, which is the 10,000 yen, technically I will have completed all the post-war Japan's banknote collection that are circulated to the public. I don't count specimen. I don't collect specimen. That is my discipline. I don't collect specimen. I don't collect rigorously or committed on replacement notes. So no, not at all. So long I have those kind of notes and those regardless of the condition, I am very happy that I have completed the set. So for me, among all my collection, the Japanese is the closest one that I could complete a half a centuries of banknote issuance. is the largest my collection that I can complete a set for all. So my biggest challenge right now for this is to complete all of this, get all of this, and the 10,000 yen. I've completed my Japanese collection. That is how close yet so far to even collect. So yeah, this is the reason why I got this one, because it's the only one that I saw 14 and I don't have it in my collection of the 14. That is why I got it. The man sells for 22 in the market. I got it probably for 20. You know, this is another dealer with same respect with him, but he sometimes depends on the node, depends on his mood. If it's good days and all that, he'll sell me at a better price. So that's that. The other one I got, same dealer from this one, is the Republic of Indonesia, 2.5 rupiah. 2.5 rupiah. That's now in Indonesia. Why didn't they say 2 rupiah and 50 cent? Now you notice that I put $2.50. Doesn't mean that it is 2 rupiah and 50 cent. Okay, it's a way for me to put as a system that is half of the value of the 1 rupiah. So in a proper way is actually what they have done here. They written it half, which is a correct denomination issuance from them, because they don't have cent in their notes that they want to issue at that time. So they call it 2.5 rupiah. Now this one is actually didn't print or command issuance by the Bank of Indonesia. I was looking for it in the catalog, but it does not exist. But it exists printed under government. So this is printed by the government. As you can see, it's signed off by the Menteri Keuangan. It's written here. Menteri Keuangan means finance minister, signing off for approval or issuance of the note. And as you see at the back, there's nothing written Bank of Indonesia. Everything is Republic of Indonesia. So there's a clear indication that this note is actually printed by the government. Same like this, the 50 cent we talk about in Japanese, printed by the government. So, yeah, I just cut off just now a moment. Sorry about that. Just that my phone is out of battery, so I just plug it in. Sorry about that. If you saw me like hanging. Now, so let me say. So yeah, this note is printed by the government, and what other words that I can read here? Tanda bayaran yang sah 2,5 rupiah. Legal tender for payment is 2.5 rupiah. That's the word. Now, those days the printing quality, won't say is really great and fantastic. You know, compared to the modern notes or even the Japanese one. If you look at it, it looks, compared to the Japanese, this looks much more fantastic. Of course, this one is printed in 1946. This is printed in 1961. So I would say that even comparing notes that is 1960s from other parts of the country, they are better actually. But the Indonesian ones still stick quite the old methods of printing, similar to the 1940s. So the printing technology was at that time was not really great, but the details and the design wise, I think they're quite good. I really like it. You know, look at it. Just 2.5 rupiah have such a profound design. It's really beautiful. You're talking about agriculture, the corn, you know, the corns, the wheat, the wheat. It's really beautiful how they portray on their banknotes. Of course, this once here is written in condition of this note. Usage is really small. I don't know whether I can read it. It's really small. Barang siapa meniru atau memasukkan wang kertas dan barang siapa mengeluarkan dengan sengaja atau menumpan wang kertas Tirua. Basically, it's a condition. Anybody who breaks the law, possessing or producing or manufacturing fake or counterfeit notes are punished severely. I didn't read the rest because it's really, 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 really tiny, the micro print here, to read it all out. But a rough translation basically is telling you you're forbidden to print the counterfeits. Anybody who is catch to possess or possess and manufacturing counterfeit of the note will be punished severely. Now, what's the punishment? Whether they are shot to death or death by hanging, it could be written here, but I didn't bother to read at the bottom. It's way too small. But if you can find in the web page and read it, yeah, go ahead and read it. Go and find out. If you want to read it, yeah, if you can see it, you can pause the video. Yeah, you can pause the video and read the words. Yeah, you can pause the video and read it. They're in Bahasa Indonesia. Well, I don't really understand Bahasa Indonesia. I know Bahasa Melayu, but it's like it's not apple to orange. Can so speak, it's like a tangerine orange with the mandarin orange. Both are orange, but different type of species of orange. So I can more or less can read them and understand them, what they're trying to read. But the spelling is and the grammatic, some of the words are different. Majority of the Indonesian language, some of them they're using more heavily on the Dutch words as a borrowed language, whilst Malaysia we borrowed language is from the English. And if you look at 600 years ago, we borrowed the Portuguese and certain words from the Dutch. But the Indonesian, they borrowed more heavily on the Dutch and borrowed more heavily on the American English into their language. Certain words that the locals don't have, so they use foreign words as a borrowed word to be integrated into their language. One of the great languages that I find in my country that we borrow is like the word for Christmas. Now, Christmas in English is Christmas, and in the Portuguese, it's called Natal. It's called Natal. And when the Malays first encountered Christianity and first heard the word Christian is from the Portuguese. So officially, Malay language, we call it Hari Natal. The same word the Portuguese use, Natal. So we use Natal as for the word for Christmas. But in Indonesia, they use Christmas as Christmas. Christmas. So they borrowed the language. They didn't say Natal, they use Christmas. So there are some words that are trying to say it's Christmas, but it's different, They're tangerine orange, I mean it's mandarin orange. So we use different kind of words, but yet we understand what it is. The word is. We borrowed somebody else's country's language or word and bring it into that. So mine is Malay language, and the Indonesian is Indonesian language. Yeah, I cannot read it and I can understand what they're trying to say, so to speak. I'm not an expert in Indonesian language, but yeah, I understand what is written here. Quite similar, like Republic of Indonesia, 2.5 rupiah, 2,5 rupiah. Menteri Keuangan, actually when we spell Keuangan, we don't spell it like this. Indonesia spell it with the Keuanj, whereas in Malay language we spell Kewang. The U is W in our language. I mean in Malay language, whereas the Indonesia is spelled with a U. Okay, now in the old days, during the 1950s and 60s, yeah, Malay language tend to use like these spellings. Then in the end, we change it to modify it to be more what it is today. So yeah, The note like this is really beautiful. Now, in design sense, I really like this one. Even it's a small denomination, it's really complex, really meaningful. Even the paper quality and the ink is very minimal. There's no security feature of this note other than the traditional paper where they have this those kind of ultraviolet linings here. That's the old days since the early 90s. They used this as security features, embedded this into the paper for when you manufacture the paper. So that's the only minimal security age we have. There's no watermark for 2.5 rupiah, but the design of it, the painstakingly design this note and print it like this in taglio, really very beautiful. These, to be honest, both sides, comparing to the modern notes of the design, especially the back of this note, and comparing the back of this note, this is still beautiful. More beautiful than a modern 2024 note from Sudan. So, yeah, creativity plays a big role, making the notes complex to be done, and other than complexity from the design is also creativity of the design to really make it look beautiful for collection. And I really like this small denomination, inexpensive. It cost me about 8 ringgit to buy, but in this condition, really nice, not too shabby. Probably you can get this for 4 ringgit, 5 ringgit for uncirculated too, much cheaper than I get. But yeah, it is what it is. And if you're willing to pay and you're willing to buy, go for it. For me, I don't have this one, so I really wanted to collect it into my collection. So, yeah, so that is all I have for the new notes. There are no new notes from my collection. I didn't or I didn't buy or order a new one. Probably the next coming will be next month, first week or second week of April would have some new notes coming in. But until that time comes, I will try to commit every day, presenting a short reel clips or 1 minute video or 1 minute clips of my collection notes that I would be doing it. I tried my best to do one every time at night of my collection, so that I have an inventory of short clips to see and to present the notes that I have to the people and to myself. So yeah, thank you very much. That's all for today. I would like to say thank you very much for listening, and if you like the video, do drop me a like, subscribe for future notification of my videos and clips. And I give a disclaimer, I do this for my personal collection, for my archiving, rather than to have clickbaits and so forth. I'm not making money out of it, but I would like to share my collection to inspire new collectors and so forth. If you are new collectors, hopefully you'll subscribe, follow my journey in my collection of the numismatic, being a Notaphily collector. And if you have any question on collecting certain banknotes or whatever it is, I'm open for discussion, if you're willing to discuss with me. So I'd like to say thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.